Hey, good afternoon, folks. My name is Greg Brooks, and I'm the owner, founder, and president of Brooks Landscaping. We are your full-service landscaping company right here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we're focused on providing our customers with a distinctive and detailed landscape experience. We've been in the business for over 10 years now, and we've been turning customers' dreams into a reality. Because at Brooks Landscaping, we make dirt look good by making sure that our customer satisfaction is guaranteed. And I'm going to take my time as I begin to help you understand how we're going to move in this 2019 digital age. And so what I'm theming this title of, this introduction, is going to be how to survive the winter and how to thrive in the spring. And so first we want you to begin to understand what you should be doing right now in the winter. Is to begin to look at your equipment maintenance. You see, when I began to do inventory on my landscaping equipment, when I began to do inventory on my business in regards to a lot of the things that I needed in order to be successful the next year, I found it a lot more of a challenge if it was done in the springtime. And so what I'm saying is that we have to begin to do so right now. It's January, a perfect opportunity to begin doing just that, and that's equipment maintenance. And so one of the first things I want you to do with your equipment, I want you to do inventory, okay? Now when you do, I'm just going to call it Invo, because inventory is absolutely essential. Now inventory is going to give you a better understanding of how well your guys have been operating your equipment. Now maybe you're a small business and it's just you and another guy. Well, then it's going to help you understand how well you've been inventorying your system over the last 12 months. That's right, it's 12 months in a year, folks. So every time you run your business, you're gonna find yourself with an opportunity to have a bolt go missing, to have something happen on your piece of equipment that could literally cost you a customer, it could cost you a contract, and it could even cost you a guy. And I've seen that happen in several businesses that I know and that I help manage, where they did not do the proper efficiency to their equipment in the wintertime, and then as a result, when spring came and we found ourselves in a thriving position, when the equipment broke, it actually did hurt someone. And so that's why we want you to take inventory right now of your existing equipment. We want you to train your employees. Now, the reason why you train employees in the wintertime and you don't wait till the springtime is because it gives you a great opportunity to do two things. The first thing that you're going to be able to do by training your employees in the wintertime is you're going to be able to look back over the last 12 months. You're going to be able to ask yourself some of the things that you could improve upon based on what you went through. And so in the training process, you're going to be able to see that there are some things that you and your employees can do better. And so I want you to begin to implement those in the wintertime so that when you come into a thriving spring, you won't necessarily have to worry about anything that you didn't address. But I want you to begin to build better relationships with your customers in the wintertime so that you can have that thriving spring that you look for. And here's how you're going to do it. You're going to do it in 3 different ways. First off, you're going to make sure that you have a follow-up process. I tell you, the follow-up is absolutely essential, folks, because depending on how many customers you did over the last 12 months, it's going to determine how many people you have to follow up with. And so what I want you to understand is the reason why we strongly suggest that you work with a service software provider in order to better allocate all of the things that you've done over a 12-month period is reasoning being that you have to understand this follow-up. And so what has allowed us to be so successful in business is Jobber. GetJobber is a service software company. What they do for you is they make the task of organizing all of those invoices, quotes, and things that are necessary in order for you to run business. They put it all in the cloud, making it easy and accessible for you straight from your smartphone. And what that does is it not only allows you to be able to gain a better intimate relationship with your customer, but it also is going to provide you with a more detailed and thorough understanding of your business. And so that's why we want you to get Jobber, and it's literally called getjobber.com. It's going to provide you with everything that you need in order to run your business more smoothly, but most importantly, it's going to give you a great process to follow up with your customer. What that's going to do for you is offer an opportunity for you to upsell a service. And so that's where we're at. And so after we understand that that number being 165 or maybe even 50, these are your customers that you're going to bridge the gap for the second point, which is an upsell or an extra service. So as a lawn care provider, we oftentimes have so much stuff that we can offer a customer, and most of it they don't even know that we can do, right? I mean, so when we start to understand that there's so much stuff that we can offer our customers that they don't even know exists, then it becomes absolutely apparent that we begin to position ourselves in order to make that known. You see, remembering that we don't get paid for anything other than solving a problem. And so as we begin to isolate the problem, we can then better identify it. So what I want you to begin to do in this follow-up process is to isolate a specific problem that you're willing to address. If you're a lawn care professional, maybe it's some type of special that you're going to provide for a spring cleanup, or maybe a wintertime cleanup. Maybe it's a pruning discount that you're going to add for those crepe myrtles. And then the most important thing that you can always do in any business is make sure that you show gratitude. And we're talking about a simple thank you. A simple thank you is to say that every customer that you've done business for over the last 12 months is going to come to the realization that you actually did care about their business. You didn't just take their money. You see, a lot of times when you come in and you do a one-off job, if you don't see your customer every day, then you could be felt as if you did a great job, but you did it so fast because you're so good that you robbed them. And we don't want any customers to have any buyer's remorse. We don't want them to leave with no understanding of what may have happened. We don't want them to feel like they've been forgotten about, especially within the first 12 months. We give at least a 1-year warranty on all of our work. And I'm sure that if you're doing a great job, you wouldn't have a problem doing that as well. So what we want you to do in the wintertime, in order to make sure that you're able to survive, is to build a better customer relationship. And you're going to do that by first off understanding that you have to be following up with your customers. And the reason why you follow up is so that you can offer an extra service. And in doing so, I want you to remember that you can also tell that customer thank you. But that's what this video is for, is to help you understand how you're going to survive the winter. That's why the thesis of Brooks Landscaping has always been to give our customers more quality and more quantity of service than that of what's expected. And if you want to hold true to that, then you're going to do exactly what I'm saying here. You're going to make sure you're doing the follow-up, you're going to make sure you're doing an upsell, and you're going to make sure you're saying thank you, and it's going to be easier done if you got Jobber. Because it's going to isolate all of that which you want to do in the wintertime and put it into one spot for you. But the first thing you're going to have to be prepared to understand, folks, as you get ready to thrive into the springtime, is that you have to prepare a marketing budget. Now, the reason why you want to prepare a marketing budget is so that you can begin to understand where your money is going to be best spent in order to get a new customer. Customer acquisition is the key. But now, maybe you're in a position to where you have enough customers. Maybe the 165 that you currently maintain doesn't require you to need a new customer. But you're definitely going to have to figure out a way, folks, to begin to actually make them have a better relationship with you. Because here are the 3 things that are going to be required when you start to understand why you must put together a marketing budget. First off, there is only 3 ways that 87% of your business is going to be gained. The first way is going to be through your branding. Now, traditionally, branding was something that we looked at as a billboard. Maybe it was a newspaper article. Maybe it was a television commercial. Maybe it was some type of sign that you had stuck out somewhere. But that was how we branded ourselves, right? And so now we've come into a digital age whereby we don't necessarily have to find ourselves only being stuck to the parameters of branding ourselves a certain way. And so now you have a new way to brand yourself. You have an entirely new world upon you, and it's called social media. That's right, social media. Oh, did I forget? I won't. The internet. Now a lot of you may think that, hey, I've been on the internet, I don't need to get back on the internet, I know what the internet's all about, I got a www. What I'm telling you folks is that most people are connecting with you using the most intimate object that they own, and it's going to be their smartphone, and they're talking to Google and they're telling it to find a local lawn care professional. And so what I want you to begin to understand is that your marketing budget is going to require you to allocate a certain amount of funds to how your customer is best able to get in contact with you, right? And so that is going to require you to understand that what I just said is not just simple as social media and the internet. When I say the internet, I'm talking about Google, I'm not talking about the yellow pages, and I'm not talking about your website, because that only gains traffic through either social media or Google. So when we understand that Google is the internet for the business owner, then we understand that social media, which thankfully there are more than just Google, becomes another avenue by which you create branding, okay? Now the second thing that is absolutely essential in order for you to get 87%. Now we're saying 87% because this has been a study that has been proven based on factual data, and if you begin to look at your historical data within your business, this also strikes the same. It has been based upon new customers being acquired on your branding, but then also it has been based upon new customers being acquired through what we like to call repeat business. That's right, repeat customers, branding, and then let me give you a third one really quick. We all like to call it referrals. Now referrals are going to be absolutely essential as well, because it gives you the opportunity to get a repeat customer to tell something about you, something about your service, something about what you've done, something about what you did. And so what we're saying in preparing your marketing budget, maybe you're just saying that I have customer bases already. I know what I need to be doing in order to get new customers. Well, guess what? These are the only 3 ways that you've done it most effectively. So let's begin advertising our money in these areas right here. Branding ourselves, creating a repeat customer, and most importantly, making our customers so happy that they want to tell friends and family about our service. So what we're saying is we want to begin to advertise ourselves or begin to explore that customer base that exists on social media, and then we also want to begin to explore that customer base that exists on Google, because every single person with a smartphone that's connected to an Android is very familiar with speaking to it. And that's what I've done for the last 5 years now. I've created my customer base by focusing on my branding, which is why we have the highest rated landscaping company in the area. I've focused on creating repeat customers, which is why we have a clientele base that we service more than once, even though we don't cut grass anymore. It's because we've effectively figured out a way to make sure that we follow up and we always have an extra service to sell, and most importantly, we're always being thankful. And so now what we've done by making sure that we create a repeat customer, we've done what's necessary to make sure that they want to tell friends and family about our service. They want to tell them about the great landscape development job that we did in solving their erosion problem. And maybe they want to tell about the way in which you've been consistent in cutting their yard on a consistent basis for the last several years. I want you to prepare for a way in which you're going to help them do that, and that requires you to begin to understand that your marketing dollars isn't spent on trying to get a new customer. No, it's going to be spent on making sure that you are creating a brand identity that is able to sustain itself through this thriving spring that you're about to go through, and that you also have a process that allows you to create a repeat customer and then get referrals. And so this is all done most of the time through service software companies such as Jobber. Over and over again, we have a higher closing ratio because of the debit and credit card process that we are able to offer, which if they put it on their credit card, they're going to get those flyer miles. Most importantly, they're going to be able to get balance transfers as well as 0% interest. So it works out great, and that's why we strongly advocate Jobber as a service software company that's not only going to allow you to create a branding process by allowing you to do what we call work requests. Now these work requests is basically the way in which you're going to get new customers on Google and social media. That's right, they have an online portal that gives you your distinct URL that would have allowed any customer to simply submit a work request if they were marketed to on social media or on Facebook or on Google. They hit that button and guess what? We're in a click to connect society, folks. They're going to be able to put their information in. It's going to come to your back office. I received 90 work requests in 1 month using this system. And the reason why is because I invested into a marketing budget that allowed me to be productive. And that marketing budget only stimulated around these 3 things: trying to get a repeat customer, trying to make sure I made my customers so happy that they wanted to tell other people, and then making sure that I had branding. And that's how critical it is that you begin to put your money into your marketing preparation for your branding, because it's going to give you total access over the internet for the next 5 years when you do capture that information. And so the next thing I want you to do, folks, is to isolate your target market. I need you to get specific on who you're going to go after in 2019 in your lawn care or landscape business. So I need you to do an ISO. When we played basketball, we had this play called ISO. And when you did ISO, that means you became focused on one thing. Focus is the key. You see, without focus, it's going to be hard for you to achieve anything, but most importantly, it is to understand that everything that you've gotten right now has been based on you recognizing it. Based on you being able to recognize the marketing trend. Based on you being able to recognize the need of a customer. So what I need you to do is focus and ISO your target market, okay? Now, what that means is all of my guys understand what landscape drainage is. They understand what it encompasses. We have books. We have a whole plethora of information over here. We're working with some of the top distributors within the nation, and it's all because we've isolated our target market in understanding that the majority of our houses that are being put up, I'm talking 95%, have a drainage problem. We're in Georgia. We call it Georgia red clay. It's hilly, has a lot of valleys, does a lot of different things. But you'd be amazed how many houses they're able to build on that, okay? So we're in the problem solving business, okay? Problem solver. That's who you are. You're a problem solver. You have to be if you're in the landscape industry or the lawn care professional, because it requires you to be able to adapt to the landscape.